Hey guys, welcome back to JR14. Here I am with another video for you guys today, and as you guys can clearly see, there is no Volkswagen content here this week. We actually have a 2019 Subaru WRX STI that's actually been lightly modified. Now the reason why we're here today, I actually wanted this car for a long period of time, since the 2008, and actually even before that, since the 2006 Subaru, the Hawkeye as they would call it, or I don't know what they call the actual hatchback version, but the one that came out in 2008. I always wanted those specific STIs, and I believe the first time I've ever seen one was when I was in high school. A fellow classmate actually ended up getting a brand new 2006 STI in high school. Here we are years later, and as you guys know already, the 2.5 4-cylinder, that's notorious for piston ring failure and all that other stuff. But you know what? Obviously there's a lot of enthusiasts out there that don't care about those things and actually pretty much call it a stigma or false information. As long as you take care of it and as long as modifications are done accordingly, then you shouldn't have any issues. So actually, I know the owner of this vehicle. I actually met him when he had, I believe, a 2006 Scion TC. And this thing was not like a normal TC. It wasn't riced out like any other TC. This TC will blow your damn doors off. It was boosted, it was wild, it was crazy. Then when he realized that wasn't practical, because he wasn't making any type, he couldn't get any of that power on the ground, he actually purchased, laughable, because of the statement I just said, he purchased a Mazda Speed 3. Same thing, literally that car was so violent, even after you modify it, the steering wheel, if you were not paying attention, will literally rip out of your hand and turn right into left or right into a tree. So he had that vehicle for actually a pretty decent time. He had it for a while. Did, you know, Cobb Accessport tunes and did all these different tunes and stuff like that. Made decent power out of it. But he realized, you know, that car is getting old. And as everyone knows from the Mazda Speed 3, that car got dated pretty quickly. So then he went to this. He said, I'm going to get not have a car for a while. I'm going to save. And this is actually his dream car. This is something that he's wanted for a while, which is a 2019 Subaru STI. Now what's cool about the new 2019 STI is a number of different things. They had a power bump, so the 2.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder making 310 horsepower and 290 pound-feet of torque from the factory, crank horsepower. Obviously there is some drivetrain loss because this is an all-wheel drive vehicle. Now, if you guys have not checked out my 2016 WRX review, I suggest that you go ahead and click in the upper right hand corner of the screen. Pretty much this is kind of similar to that in regards to the features, so we're not going to go too much into that. We're going to go into the performance stuff. So without further ado, you guys are going to get a full review of the interior, exterior, and my personal favorite, my driving impressions of the 2019 STI. So without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and jump into this review right now. Okay guys, on the 2019 Subaru STI, they do come factory with 19-inch wheels. It's a 245/35 R19 tire on here. They do come with summers. If you want all seasons, I believe some dealerships will offer them for extra cost. They will swap the tires out for you. If you're gonna drive this car as your daily driver and not track it, I do recommend getting the all seasons. If you are gonna track it, you can keep the summer tires. In my opinion, what I would do is I would get a set of 18-inch STI wheels, and then what I would do is I would have those as the track wheels because they'll be lighter, and then I'll have these with the all seasons as my daily driver, and I'll just have to swap rims in and out. That's your choice. Also, you do have cross-drilled rotors as well as 6-piston Brembo brakes. Obviously these came on the 2018 and the 2019 in this awesome lime color. Depending on what color you get, these are a little controversial. These are the only color Brembo calipers that you can get on the 2018s and 2019s. I think it looks cool, especially with the white paint. Definitely offsets it very nicely. But colors such as like red, yeah, like really only red would probably kind of be a little iffy. But, you know, to each its own. Also, these, you know, since you do have 6-piston calipers, now you do have really good braking power. Obviously, they wanted to overkill the brakes for this car, which this is a little overkill for an STI, in my opinion. But again, if you're going on a track day, you don't want to have anything of brake fade, you want to have a good track pad on there, then you know what, you'll be a-okay with these brakes right here. So let's go ahead and check out some of the modifications that he's done on this 2019 STI. Okay, so here we are in the back of the STI, and you guys are wondering, why the hell are you sitting on the ground? Well, there's a few modifications down here that I actually want to point out. One of the most beautiful sounding exhaust that you can possibly get for this car is the Q300 NVIDIA catback, as well as a Q400 if you don't mind blowing your ears off with the loudness, because they are. The 400 is a little excessive in regards of it being loud. And also another cool thing that I always, if I was this, like I said, I always wanted an STI, and I like this body style too. One of the first cosmetic modifications I would get is that F1 style rain light. That thing is absolutely amazing. You can actually, if you get them from Subaru, a lot of these parts that you can get on this car, you can get from a company called Subaru. Subaru is a wholesale wholesaler that pretty much sells all these aftermarket parts with all the different companies that work with this platform, as well as the WRX. The cool thing about that rain light, you can actually plug it up to actually just work as a brake light, a parking light to work with your parking lights at night, or even you can make it work as a third brake light where it does the 3 blinks. So that's pretty cool. And then depending on which one you order, you can also order one in the cherry red, like you see here. You can also order it in a clear, and you can also order it in a smoke finish too. So that's pretty cool. And now we're about to go ahead and check the part that you guys always wanted to see, the engine bay, where we could check out how this car makes its power. So let's jump to the front right now. Okay, so here we are in the heart of the 2019 STI. As you guys already know, this is nothing new. Everyone that loves STIs, this is nothing new. This engine's been around for almost 13 years now. It is a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder turbocharged. This, like I said, it makes 3. It makes 310 horsepower, 290 pound-feet of torque to the crank. Also, another thing, I know I mentioned at the beginning of this video that I was talking about ringland failure and stuff like that. Actually, for 2019, for all you guys that don't know, the RA STI, that, you know, the one with the carbon fiber roof trying to act like an M3, that was 50 grand. It made a little bit more power. Now, one of the reasons why, what are the things that they did to ensure to keep its reliability was to actually reinforce the pistons inside of the block, since that seemed to be the major fault of the 2.5 for a pretty long time. That was actually carried over with the 2019 as well. So they do have upgraded pistons in this vehicle, so we should not have nearly as many issues with ringland failure or piston stuff anyway. Couple of the modifications that he has done to this is the Cobb intake system. As I was talking about previously, that NVIDIA exhaust, it's not just the catback, it's also the downpipe as well. He is fully catless, so we have a true NVIDIA turboback system. Also, we have a Go Fast Bits hybrid blow off valve, so you can actually set it to recirculating, or you can set it to full blow off, or you can set it to half and half. He actually likes to keep it closed just to ensure that power is distributed in the best ways possible. I know that he did tell me that if he does keep it open, sometimes what happens is when he comes back on and tries to get back, when he comes off, and obviously it'll make the ch sound, when he tries to come back on the power, sometimes it'll bog or it'll stall. So and just, you know, obviously for blow off, you kind of want the noise, the HKS and all that other stuff. You kind of want it for the noise, but obviously he wants to have as much power or a safe power as possible. Also, the last bit that of performance modification that he did was actually an in-tank upgraded fuel pump from AEM. So obviously, probably the next steps for him is most likely going to be injectors. I don't really know, but that's his build. And that's based on what the time he wants to do in regards to when he wants to do it. But like I say, he has an upgraded fuel pump, so he can add more power to it if he wants to. And a funny thing, he actually just dynoed the car the other day, and I believe it made around 320 wheel horsepower. And that may not seem like a high number compared to what I said with the 310, but you have to remember that 310 is crank horsepower. This is 320 to the wheel, so the car is actually going to feel a lot better than stock, but it's going to feel stockish, if that makes any sense. But without further ado, what I want to go ahead and do now, I want to take a look at this interior, because that was a major gripe with the STI when it first came out, but they did a lot of revisions inside. So let's go ahead and check out the interior right now. Here we are in the 2019 STI. Now, if you've been in an STI starting back in 2015, you know that there was some things that just didn't feel premium. And that's kind of like the whole stigma with STI or Subaru in general, is that before, the interiors weren't really like finished. If that makes any sense. Things didn't fit and finish, a lot of rattling, stuff like that. But when you're sitting in a 2019 STI, a lot of things have changed. Now, he actually changed these. There's a JDM, I don't know if it's an STI, but there's a JDM Subaru out in Japan, which actually has this red and black trim, which literally looks nice. I think it ties extremely well to the interior with the red and black stitching, with the red stitching with the black Alcantara, as well as the black leather and the black and red leather with Alcantara Recaro seats. I think that's a huge factor of what ties the dashboard into the rest of the interior. I really do love the steering wheel. The steering wheel is really cool. You do have these really good props. I know I'm holding my hand like this for now, but that's perfectly fine. The car is tilted to get the other shots. But I know compared to my GTI, the notches for 10 and 10 and 2 are actually a little bit more aggressive. Lock your thumbs when you're going around a corner. Another stigma with the Subaru was for the fact in 2015, 16, and 17, I think 18 as well, the head units did not come with Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. Now finally for 2019, Subaru has added that in, and also you have NFC capability, connectivity as well. That's what the little icon is here on the right above the volume knob. So all you have to do, if you have an NFC device, all you have to do is just hold it to it and it connects to it immediately, so you can do things like Bluetooth and stuff of that nature. It does have Bluetooth for anyone that is interested, and obviously for the STI, you can only get these, you can get them as a base, but this is a limited, so it pretty much is loaded already. Like I said, with the Alcantara, the black and red leather, as far as those seats being powered as well. Also, you do have an auto dimming mirror as well as Harman Kardon. Trust me, if you are getting a WRX or an STI and you do not have Harman Kardon and you love music in any type of sense, go get the Harman Kardon. And if you're not willing to spend any type of money to get aftermarket head units and radios and stuff like that, get the Harman Kardon. Get the Harman Kardon. Just get the Harman Kardon. A couple of things that he did modify in here. This Cobb Accessport, so obviously with all those supporting modifications, the bolt-ons as they would call it, you do have a Cobb Accessport, so the same thing as my car. It's a V3 Accessport. Also, a cool thing about this is that he has a plate in the dashboard that actually mounts the Accessport. So all you have to do is just pull it out, pull it in, and it's a nice flush look. You can clearly always see it. They don't make anything like that for my car. I actually had a mount that actually was a suction cup to the window, but you can still see the wire. This is nice and clean. It makes the interior look really flush. It looks like it's OEM and it's meant to be there. Another cool thing is that obviously you guys remember my video of the racing shift knob, and he has that as well. He has the spherology with the red translucent, as well as instead of having that black the black cover, he has a white cover to match the exterior of his car. Looks wonderful. And obviously, as you guys can tell, makes the shifting night and day. With 30 grams of weight, definitely makes the shifting night and day experience. And once we do the driving portion of that, I'll definitely show you that. Also, another great thing about this is that you have keyless entry, push button start. And then also you come here and you have heated seats, which are pretty cool because obviously it's Subaru, and Subaru is all about adventure, and you can't have adventures without heated seats because most of the adventures in the cold. But another cool thing about this interior is the black headliner. I really love the fact of black headliners. I think that was a stigma a while ago. That was something that a lot of people didn't want to do because it makes the cabin more claustrophobic. It makes it look smaller because it's so dark. But I love the fact that it's not gray. I love the fact that it's a black headliner. I always will tell that in all of my reviews. If I find a black headliner, I will mention it. It's always great. Also, since it's a limited, you do get dual zone climate control. I never thought that was a thing, and I never thought I needed it until I had my Accord that had it. Never really used it. Got this car that doesn't have it, and I don't have it anymore. And me and my girlfriend can never really agree on temperature. I'm hot, she's cold. I turn the cold on, she turns it back to hot. I get hot, I turn it back to cold. It's a 9-day thing. So people, you just hit this button and you can distribute the air on 2 different sides, which is kind of cool for a performance vehicle. Usually they're not on performance vehicles. And then you have this gauge up here. It's able to read fuel economy, boost levels, all that other good jazz. So it's like another information LCD display, which is also kind of cool. And also the STI on the bottom here does glow pink at night, which I love. I love little stuff like that. I wish I can get like a GTI logo and try to edge it in and wire it and make it work. But that'll just be, for something so small, that would just take way too much time. What I want to do now is that I really want to get behind the wheel of the 2019 STI, and I want to give you my personal impressions on the drive with normal driving and some spirited driving. So without further ado, start her up and let's go for a drive. All right, so you're in a 2019 STI. We're gonna take it for a drive. Bear with me, the clutches are completely different in our cars. His is a lot lighter. So, but I do know the basis of driving a manual, so go ahead and roast me in the comments all you want. The bite point's different too. Oh, it's not bad. Is the stock clutch in here? Let's see what you get with that flutter. Oh, that's dope. I like this. Okay. Definitely fire. So what I'm gonna do for a little bit, I'm actually just gonna close the windows so we can just talk about some of the things, but we will put the AC on just a little bit. Okay. I like this thing. The Subaru STI. It's one of those cars where it's just like you really have to understand what it is and really appreciate it. The gearing is very notchy. My car, it's notchy, but I guess again, you know, I don't drive an STI every day, so it's kind of like when I downshift, I'm trying to find second, but I really have to move over to second rather than just slipping into second. My car's a little bit more forgiving. A few things I could talk about with the STI, and I should be the one to talk because my car is catless too. There's definitely more noise. Definitely. There's less insulation in an STI than my GTI, but obviously you buy an STI not to get refinement. Yes. It gives you a sensation that it's, I think, a little bit different than most cars. It's that sensation that, you know, you get boost, you get turbo lag, and then it just kicks you. But it doesn't kick you so hard. Remember, he only has the entry-level supporting mods. He did a fuel pump. That's the most advanced thing that he's done on the car so far. I mean, it's just intake, catless downpipe exhaust, and everything else. But literally, you know, you really don't need much with a car like this. I mean, what I want to do is that I really want to take it around some corners. What I like to do around this area that I'm at is a figure 8. So and then we can understand the Subaru's up. Oh my God. Wow. I didn't even ask this guy if he wanted me to do this, but
take the traction control off.
I didn't. Okay, well there you go. Traction control is on. Yeah. There it is.
Hold it into the. There you go.
All right, now me having experience in autocross, I'm curious. Oh my God! There we go. The back end comes out a lot, which is nice. Okay, so let me gather my thoughts because I'm just really excited about how I'm driving this car right now. So the thoughts that I have with it, so the all-wheel drive is very unique. And what I mean by that is the fact that when you get off the power, the back likes to come out like that, and then it comes around. You can use the weight of the balance of the car to kind of help you out to get around the corner. I don't get a lot of understeer or oversteer with this car. It's just balance. There we go. It's easy to rev match, which I like. Brakes are nice and good. The pedal does get soft a little bit, but it's not terrible at all. Handles very well. It really does. You really don't need much suspension modifications on something like this, unless if you're doing religious track. If you're like, this is going to be a track car, then that's when I think you need to invest thousands of dollars in like coilovers and suspension. The GTI is very forgiving with its suspension, so I really needed to beefing it up. Sway bars, control arms in the front, things of that nature, bushings, to get the ride that I want. This comes out the box like this, and it's very involving. What the owner did tell me about the car was, he's like, it does beat you up a little bit. An STI, you could daily it, but it's just be mindful that it's a car that's very raw. Like you're hearing all the noises, you hear everything that's going on throughout the car. You feel the tires, you feel the steering. The steering wheel is a lot tighter than my car as well. And the reason for that is because of the fact that, I believe that this is still a hydraulic steering rack. I don't think it's electronic. Mid corner, feed it the power, and I'm good. Power, 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 power. Hard on the brakes, downshift, and then corner in, and then it's all-wheel drive. This is really good. It feels really good. I'm actually going to do a solemn and just curious of how the car performs when you really throw the weight around, or leave it a little less, but there it is. Wow. Okay, so I wasn't expecting that. I was not. See, I'm expecting it, since it's a 4-cylinder turbo. I'm expecting it to be front-wheel drive bias, but this is an actual all-wheel drive car. It does distribute power left and right. I'm sorry, back and forth. But that is very different. But the good thing about it is, if you're a good driver, you know how to transfer that weight. Like if you need rotation and the car starts to slide out, you can actually use that to your advantage to get the car more darted into the corner. I actually have a friend that's a race car driver that races Audis professionally, and he actually used my car to that advantage. I've never felt my car do that before, but noticing that now, it kind of really gives it the characteristics. Yeah. You can lose control in this thing if you're not careful.
There's plenty of videos.
But then, and then obviously, yes, you guys are wanting to know, oh my God, you didn't talk about the diff and all of that stuff. Leave the diff in auto, don't mess with it. If you don't want to blow your diff up, don't put it in all the highest setting that you could possibly do it and drive normal. You'll blow your diff out. That's a known thing that in the Subaru STI community that people seem to fail to realize. Leave it in auto. We are in Sports Sharp, if you guys wanted to know. Wow. The suspension doesn't feel that bad. It is a performance car, it's firm, but it's not terrible. The seats, I wish there was a little bit more support on the higher end of these seats, but driving it like this, it's not terrible. You are hearing more road noise. Again, I can't stress that enough. You're buying an STI not to care about road noise. It's about me, I'm comparing it to my car. My car has a catless downpipe. He's heard it, it's loud. He heard it idling. He's like, you gotta be kidding me. That's what it sounds like at idle. I'm like, yeah, that's not loud. When I'm driving it, the interior, that's what gives the Golf R and the GTI that characteristic that not a lot of other cars can achieve. So I had a question for you, and again, you're not on camera, but I have to ask you this question. Why did you get an STI versus, let's say, a Golf R or an RS?
It was close with the Golf R, but driving both cars, this one just felt more fun.
Okay. You know what? I can kind of agree with you in that. I've driven a Golf R before, and it's really all about precision, precision, precision.
Not that grown up yet.
Yeah, it's a grown-up car for sure. You could be 50 years old, but put 500-something horsepower in it, and then
Be comfortable.
My GTI, like that, 400 horsepower, comfortable. Yes, the coilovers beat you up a little bit, so I can kind of understand. I'm more forgiving with this being that firm. But like, let's say if you're on New York City roads, like you see me moving like this a little bit, like you feel it. There is no active dampening on this car at all. It is all just coilovers. It's just the way that the suspension is tuned. I am curious of what the 0 to 60 is in this car. Obviously, I wish I had a draggy. I don't. I need to invest in one. This way. You do have a backup camera as well, which is always nice.
Yeah, launching the car is going to be a little different from launching yours.
Yeah, I know it's all-wheel drive, and you can break a lot more stuff. So I'm just going to be as lenient and as gentle as possible.
Hold it, and then once you feel the car pick up a good amount, let it go.
Okay. That's easy. It's easy said than done. Yeah. Because this is car.
See how much boost it builds at launch control.
Before I do that, you launch at 5,500 RPM? Yeah,
but I don't dump it.
Oh, okay. Okay. So just slip the clutch out, and then when it's good.
When it's good, let it go. I'll say let go when
you're
ready. There you go, perfect.
I can see why you like this. They definitely did a good job of knocking off all the bells of what this car should come with from the factory. I do like the shifter. I love everything else about it. I do, yeah. I mean, there's really no complaints. There's not that many complaints about this car, as many as I thought that there would be. But, you know, overall, it's a pretty nice platform.
You forget about all of them once you start driving.
Yeah, once, like, literally, I did not care about, that's a good point. I didn't care about any of that stuff. I don't give a crap about the navigation. I just did launch control. I don't care about navigation at that point. It's great right now anyway because we're in a big park, so it doesn't even really matter. I like it. I think it's fair with what this cost. I didn't even know. He actually told me about that today, and I put that in a video in regards to the upgraded pistons, the reinforced pistons. That's actually pretty cool that Subaru acknowledged that issue and changed it mid-year. Sometimes they won't wait. They'll wait until the new model comes out to relay issues. A lot of manufacturers do that, but this car, they actually just did it right away. I need to work on my launches, apparently. 6.1 is terrible. In my, especially in the all-wheel drive car.
The launch was good. It was the first, second, and third. And your shift points were a little short, but launch was good. Launch was good.
Good. So okay, there you go. The guy does the car every day. He says my launches are good. So awesome. Yeah, I like it. I think it's a good car, and you know, I really do. You know, thank you for letting me drive it. I really do appreciate you letting me drive it today. And yeah. All right, guys, well, that's going to conclude this review of the 2019 Subaru WRX STI. It's been a great drive. It's great as far as the interior. They added a lot of cool stuff into it, a lot of cool factors about it. It's definitely one of those cars where you have to really drive it to appreciate it and really understand why it is the price that it is. But what I need you guys to do is a few things for me. If you do like this video, please give it a thumbs up and make sure that you also do not 3 things, but 4 things. I need you to like, share, and subscribe to my channel, JR14. And also right next to the subscribe button to the right of it, there is a notification bell. You smash that and hit allow. It allows you to get post notifications on videos that come out every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and you guys always remember, with white STIs, with mods, cars are always a lifestyle.